deep inside the verdant forest, where the trees were tall and quiet, and the air always smelled like fresh leaves, the sky began to turn gray. Soft clouds drifted slowly above the treetops, bringing the gentle promise of rain. Every Pokémon hurried to find shelter. Some hid under large roots, some curled under big leaves, and some jumped into hollow logs. But Bulbasaur didn't run. He loved the rain. He loved how it touched the earth softly, how it made tiny rings on puddles, and how the whole forest seemed to breathe differently when the drops began to fall. Bulbasaur stood in a small clearing and lifted his head as the first drops touched his forehead. Plip, plip, plip. The rain grew a bit stronger, tapping the leaves above like tiny drums. Water trickled down Bulbasaur's flower bulb, sliding along the edges like silver streams. The air was cool and calm. But then something strange happened. One raindrop didn't fall. It hung in the air, glowing softly like a tiny pearl made of moonlight. Bulbasaur blinked, confused. Raindrops weren't supposed to float. They weren't supposed to shine like that. And they definitely weren't supposed to move on their own. Yet this little raindrop drifted forward slowly, as if calling him. Bulbasaur whispered. The raindrop flickered gently, almost like it answered him. Then it floated deeper into the forest. Bulbasaur hesitated for a moment. The forest during rain could be mysterious, filled with soft shadows and moving leaves. But his curiosity was stronger. So he followed. Water splashed softly under his steps as he entered the deeper woods. Every leaf sparkled with tiny droplets. Mist curled around the trees, making the world look dreamy and blurry. The glowing raindrop floated ahead of him like a tiny lantern. Bulbasaur noticed something. Wherever the raindrop passed, the plants reacted. Leaves tilted toward it, moss shimmered a little brighter, and tall grass moved even when the wind was still. It was like the raindrop carried a secret the forest already knew. Bulbasaur stepped carefully past a fallen log, feeling the earth soft under his feet. The rain grew heavier, but the floating raindrop glowed brighter, as if protecting him from the dark. Then the raindrop suddenly stopped. Bulbasaur walked closer and saw something unexpected. A small pond he had never seen before. It was round, perfectly still, and surrounded by tall flowers with blue petals. The pond glowed softly, even though the sky was dark. The raindrop hovered above the water, flickering nervously. Bulbasaur stepped to the edge, and the pond responded. A faint ring of light rippled across the surface. Another, then another. The center of the water began to shine like polished crystal. Bulbasaur stepped back in surprise. From inside the pond, a second raindrop rose, much brighter than the first, glowing with gentle blue light. But this one didn't float. It wobbled in the air weak, as if its glow was fatting. The little raindrop spirit beside Bulbasaur flickered quickly, as if calling out to it. Bulbasaur suddenly understood. The floating raindrop wasn't just magical, it was alive. A tiny raindrop spirit, and the spirit was lost. The glowing pond was its home, but the second spirit looked tired, its light dim like a candle, almost blowing out. It drifted weakly toward the first spirit, but it didn't have the strength to reach it. Bulbasaur felt his heart tighten. He walked forward, placing himself between the two spirits. Rain soaked his back and rolled down his bulb, gathering into tiny puddles at his feet. Bulbasaur lowered himself and gently used his bulb to push the weak spirit upward. At his touch, the weak spirit glowed faintly, responding to the water stored inside Bulbasaur's bulb. Bulbasaur closed his eyes and let the rain flow over him. He felt its coolness, filling his bulb like fresh energy. Then, carefully, he let a small stream of water drip from his bulb onto the spirit. The spirit's light brightened. Slowly, softly, it rose higher into the air. The first raindrop spirit circled around it with joy, its glow dancing like a tiny rainbow. Together, the two spirits began to swirl. The pond reacted to them, shining brightly with blue and silver light. The rain around Bulbasaur slowed, falling more gently. Then something beautiful happened. The two spirits merged into one larger raindrop of light. It hovered above the pond, glowing with calm, warm energy. The forest grew silent, as if listening. Even the rain softened to a peaceful drizzle. Bulbasaur stepped back, watching with wide eyes. The spirit floated toward him. A soft voice, so gentle it felt like a memory, echoed in his mind. "Thank you, small child of the forest." Bulbasaur's ears twitched. "You carried the life of rain within you," the spirit whispered. "You cared for what was lost. You helped what was weak. And because of that, the forest will remember you." The large raindrop spirit slowly separated into two again. But now both glowed bright and strong, their light soft and warm. They circled Bulbasaur in gratitude. Bulbasaur smiled and tilted his head, enjoying their gentle glow. The spirits floated back to the pond. As they touched the surface, the entire pond lit up like a giant blue lantern. A column of shimmering light rose into the sky, carrying the two spirits upward. Bulbasaur watched as they drifted into the clouds, becoming part of the rain once again. The pond dimmed, becoming calm and still. The flowers around it closed slowly, as if going back to sleep. The rain eased into a soft drizzle. Bulbasaur stood alone for a moment, listening to the quiet rhythm of the falling drops. He felt peaceful, warmed, and proud as he walked back through the wet forest. The rain seemed to fall around him differently, softer, kinder, almost like it was whispering, "Thank you." The trees glistened, the moss sparkled, even the puddles reflected the sky with a gentle glow. When Bulbasaur reached the clearing where he started, the rain finally turned into a faint mist. He curled up under a large leaf, the last drops sliding off gently. Bulbasaur placed a paw on his bulb, feeling the warm memory of the spirit's touch inside. With the rain singing softly around him, Bulbasaur closed his eyes and drifted into a peaceful, magical sleep, dreaming of glowing ponds, floating lights, and gentle raindrop spirits who would always remember his kindness.